Good afternoon, students. So yesterday we discussed regarding a photoelectric effect. So in the middle we have stopped this concept. Today we'll continue that. See what is photoelectric effect? Photoelectric effect is nothing but the ejection of electrons from the surface of a metal when it is radiated with a light of certain minimum frequency. That is called photoelectric effect. See here. See, when let us assume this is an atom, this is a nucleus. Here, some electrons are present. See, when light is made to fall on this atom, what are the photons present in this light? Means, the wavelength of the light, what I am passing is nu. So, if frequency is nu, and the energy of this photon is h nu. In that total energy of the photon, some amount of energy is utilized for the ejection of this electron, and that energy what is required for the ejection of electrons is nothing but called as work function. That is what we discussed yesterday. So work function is the minimum amount of energy required for the ejection of electrons from the surface of a metal. That is called as work function. Then what about remaining energy? In the total energy, that is in h nu, some amount of energy is utilized for the removal of electron. The remaining energy is nothing but is equal to the kinetic energy of the electron. So in the total energy of the photon, some energy is utilized for the ejection of electron, and the remaining energy is converted to the kinetic energy of the electron. That means, let us h nu is the total energy of the radiation. This is equal to some amount of energy is utilized for the ejection of electron, and the remaining energy is converted to kinetic energy of electron. Simply, total energy is equal to work function. Total energy is equal to work function plus kinetic energy. Okay, then h nu is equal to W work function. So this work function is nothing but equal to h nu naught. Work function is the energy required for the ejection of electron. That is nothing but energy corresponds to threshold frequency. What is threshold frequency? The minimum frequency that is required for the ejection of electron. That is called threshold frequency. The energy corresponding to threshold frequency is nothing but work function. So this is the minimum energy required for the ejection of electron, and that minimum frequency required, that is called threshold frequency plus kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is nothing but half mv square. So this is the mathematical expression for photoelectric effect. Okay. So in the total energy, some amount of energy is utilized for the ejection of electron, which is known as work function. That work function is equal to energy corresponds to threshold frequency h nu naught. The remaining energy is converted to the kinetic energy of the ejected electron. So h nu is equal to h nu naught plus half mv square. Suppose the same in terms of wavelength, if you convert the same equation, then this becomes hc by lambda, because nu is equal to c by lambda. Hc by lambda is equal to hc by lambda naught plus half mv square. This is another expression. So from this, if you want to calculate kinetic energy half mv square, then the same we can represent as kinetic energy is equal to, take this Hc by lambda naught this side and take Hc common, that is equal to Hc into 1 by lambda minus 1 by lambda naught. This is expression for kinetic energy of the ejected electron when wavelength given. Okay, right. Then here what is lambda naught? Let us see. So here lambda naught is called as threshold wavelength. What is this threshold wavelength? See, threshold wavelength is nothing but is equal to the maximum wavelength. See, frequency wavelength reciprocal, opposite, inversely proportional. Minimum frequency means maximum wavelength. So threshold wavelength is the maximum wavelength that is required for the ejection of electrons from the surface of metal. Means if the wavelength of the radiation is more than that, then electrons cannot be ejected. Means the wavelength of the photons of the incident light must be equal to lambda naught, or it should be less than lambda naught. It should not be more than lambda naught. That's why we are using lambda maximum. The maximum wavelength that is required for the ejection of electrons from the metal surface means that the wavelength should be less than this. This is minimum frequency, means the frequency should be equal to lambda naught or more than lambda naught. Then only electrons will be ejected. So in the total energy, some amount of energy is required for the ejection of electron. Remaining energy is converted to kinetic energy of the ejected electron. Okay. Then total energy h nu is equal to work function W plus kinetic energy. That is what you have taken here. Total energy is h nu. If the frequency of incident light is nu, W is work function which is equal to h nu naught, and kinetic energy is half mc square. So h nu is equal to h nu naught plus half mv square. This is the mathematical expression for photoelectric effect. The same in terms of wavelength, if right, just replace nu with c by lambda, then you can get this equation. And from this equation we can derive expression for we can derive expression for kinetic energy of ejected electron. Take hc by lambda naught this side and take hc common, then hc into 1 by lambda minus 1 by lambda naught, that is kinetic energy of ejected electron. Right. Now let us see some characteristic features of this photoelectric effect. See how much time it will take for the ejection of electrons when the light is made to fall on the surface of metal. There is no time lag. There is no time lag. There is no time lag between incident of light and ejection of electrons. So there is no time lag between incident of light radiation as well as ejector of electrons. As soon as a light is made to fall on the surface of metal, immediately the electrons will get eliminated. There is no time gap. There is no time gap between the incident of light and ejection of electrons. Immediately, whenever the light strike the metal surface, electrons will eject. Okay, right. Next, see, as the frequency of radiation increases, kinetic energy of electrons increases, but number of ejected electrons remains the same. Means if you are increasing the frequency nu, number of ejected electron remains the same, but the kinetic energy of the ejected electrons increases. See, If the frequency of radiation is increased, that means the total energy is increased, but work function does not changes. Work function is a constant for a particular metal. So work function is the characteristic of the metal. So different metals are having different work functions. Simply that work function is nothing but ionization, means for the ionization how much energy is required. Okay, so the elements which are having less ionization enthalpy have low work function. The elements with a high ionization enthalpy has high work function. For example, I will take alkali metals: sodium, lithium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. So here top to bottom ionization enthalpy decreases. That means a work function also decreases. So energy required for ejection of electrons decreases. So these are the elements of first group in periodic table. Alkali metals called as lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium is radioactive element. Leave that. So from top to bottom in a group, ionization enthalpy decreases. That means energy required for the ejection of electrons decreases. That is work function decreases. Among all known elements in periodic table, alkali metals are having low work function because they are having low ionization enthalpies. Among known elements, most commonly used best photoelectric substances are potassium and cesium. Potassium, rubidium, cesium, these are best photoelectric substances because of their low ionization enthalpy, means low work function. Okay, right. So as the frequency of the radiation increases, total energy of radiation increases, work function remains constant. As a result, kinetic energy of the ejected electron increases. W remains constant. As h nu increases, kinetic energy increases. Okay, so as the frequency of the incident radiation increases, kinetic energy of ejected electron increases, but number of ejected electrons does not change, they remain same. Then how to increase the number of ejected electrons? Now, by keeping the frequency constant, without changing frequency, as intensity of radiation increases, as intensity of radiation increases, as the intensity of radiation increases, what is meant by this intensity? Intensity means nothing but number of photons. As you know, E is equal to n h nu. H nu is energy of a photon, one photon, where n is number of photons. Increasing intensity means increasing number of photons with the same frequency. Without changing the frequency, if the number of photons are increased, that is called as increase in intensity. So as the intensity of radiation increases, energy of each photon remains constant, work function is constant, then kinetic energy also constant, does not changes. But number of photons increases. As intensity increases, number of photons increases, then number of ejected electrons also increases. For example, I am passing radiation here. The light consists of 10,000 photons. Then how many electrons may eject? 10,000 electrons may be ejected. If I pass the radiation with the same frequency, but number of photons is 1 lakh, means intensity is increased with the same frequency, then how many electrons will eject? 1 lakh electrons will eject. Number of electrons are increased, but kinetic energy remains same because frequency is same. As long as frequency kept constant, kinetic energy of electron remains constant. If you are increasing a number of photons, number of ejected electrons increases, but kinetic energy remains same. So as the intensity of radiation increases, kinetic energy of electrons remains same, but number of ejected electrons number of ejected electrons increases. So just remember these 2 points, they are important in objective examination. They are asking questions based on this. As frequency increases, kinetic energy of ejected electron increases, but the number of ejected electrons remains same. As the intensity of radiation increases, that means as the number of photons in the radiation increases, kinetic energy of ejected electron remains the same, but the number of ejected electrons increases. So these are some characteristic features of photoelectric effect. Now let us see some graphical representation also here. Kinetic energy versus frequency. Kinetic energy of ejected electrons and frequency of the incident light. Between these two, if you plot a graph. So here, for the ejection of electrons, we require certain minimum frequency. Suppose here, one case I will apply here. This is the equation. H nu is equal to h nu naught plus half mv square. Now, in this equation, what the incident frequency is there? Suppose if nu is equal to nu naught, that means work function threshold frequency is equal to frequency of incident light, then half mv square is equal to 0. That means the kinetic energy of ejected electron is 0. Means what the radiation we are passing here, if the frequency of this radiation is exactly equal to nu naught, then from the metal surface electron will be ejected. That's all. There is no kinetic energy. With 0 kinetic energy, just electron will eject. So kinetic energy is equal to 0 when our frequency is nu naught. Now at this point the frequency is nu naught. If frequency is nu naught, below this frequency electron will not be ejected. This is below threshold frequency. This is threshold frequency. Here ejection of electron starts with kinetic energy 0. As the frequency increases, so here as the frequency increases, then kinetic energy of ejected electron increases. So this is the graphical relation between kinetic energy and frequency. See here. If the frequency of incident light is less than threshold frequency, no electron will be ejected. If the frequency of incident light is equal to threshold frequency, means nu is equal to nu naught, then h nu naught is equal to h nu naught plus half mv square. Both these will get cancelled. Then half mv square is equal to 0. That means if the incident light is equal to threshold frequency, electron will be ejected, that's all, with 0 kinetic energy. So now at this point, at this frequency, electron will eject with 0 kinetic energy. If the frequency is more than this, then electron will eject and some energy is converted to kinetic energy. As frequency increases, kinetic energy of the ejected electron increases. Now, one more graph. Suppose number of ejected electrons versus frequency. If you plot a graph, number of ejected electrons versus frequency. See, just now we discussed here, as frequency increases, number of ejected electrons remains same. That means it will not change. So whatever the frequency we have applied, number of ejected electron remains the same. As frequency increases, kinetic energy of ejected electron increases, number of ejected electrons remains same. Next, one more graph. Kinetic energy versus intensity. And here, number of ejected electrons versus intensity. Now see, as intensity of radiation increases, kinetic energy of ejected electrons remains same. That means it remains same, does not changes. As intensity increases, kinetic energy of ejected electron remains same. But as intensity increases, number of ejected electrons increases. More the intensity, more is the number of electrons. Okay, so this is regarding a variation of ejected electrons and variation of the kinetic energy with frequency and intensity. Just remember these 2 points mainly. As frequency increases, kinetic energy increases, number of electrons ejected remains same. As intensity increases, kinetic energy of electrons remains same, but number of ejected electrons increases. Okay, right. These are the graphical relations with Ke versus nu or ejected electron versus nu, otherwise Ke versus intensity or a number of electrons versus intensity. Right. And one more term, stopping potential. So here, number of ejected electrons we can measure in terms of current in amperes here. More the deflection in an ammeter, more the number of electrons ejected. Lesser is the deflection, lesser number of electrons are received by this anode. Okay. Next here, one more. Stopping potential. See, stopping potential is nothing but the minimum potential that must be applied to stop the ejection of electrons from the metal surface. That means here, if we apply some electric field through these electrodes, if we apply some electric field through these electrodes, then we can stop the ejection of electrons. Means if we supply some energy which is equal to kinetic energy of the electron, then we can stop the ejection of electrons. And that minimum potential that is required for stopping the ejection of electrons is nothing but called as stopping potential. Okay, see once again. So by applying some electric potential here, potential difference, we can stop the ejection of electrons. Okay, and that minimum potential that is required to stop the ejection of electrons from the metal surface, that is called as stopping potential. Means if you are applying the energy which is equal or more than kinetic energy of the electron, then we can stop the ejection of electron from the surface of this metal. That is known as stopping potential. So just remember, wherever I use the term stopping potential, that stopping potential is nothing but equal to the kinetic energy of the ejected electrons. Kinetic energy is nothing but equal to stopping potential. So this is regarding a photoelectric effect. Yeah, from this photoelectric effect, what we'll come to know? So as we know already, electromagnetic radiations are having wave nature. See, when this radiation is made to fall on the surface of metal, from the surface of the metal, electrons get ejected. What does it mean? Electron is a material particle. A material particle can be displaced by another material particle. Otherwise, it is not possible. Since this incident radiation eject electron from the surface of the metal, means that this radiation is having material particles of negligible mass. And this experiment indicates that The electromagnetic radiations are having both wave nature as well as particle nature. So wave theory explains the wave nature of electromagnetic radiation according to Maxwell theory. And from this photoelectric effect, we will come to know that the electromagnetic radiations are having both wave nature as well as particle nature. Okay, right. So this is regarding photoelectric effect. So based on this photoelectric effect and black body radiation, Max Planck proposed corpuscular theory. There is a particle theory of electromagnetic radiation. That is what we discussed in the yesterday class. Okay. Right. So this is an important concept, photoelectric effect. And one more term is the work function. Work function is different for different metals. That depends upon the electronic configuration of an atom in the valence shell as well as effective nuclear charge. Simply, alkali metals are having low work function. Transition metals are having a high work function. Right. Let us see here. So we'll solve some simple problems based on this. What we discussed yesterday, Max Planck's quantum theory, as well as today what we discussed, the photoelectric effect. Right. Let us hear the first one. Let's look at it. So these are your exercise questions only. Right. So here now. So this is a 2.8. What is just one question I'll give here. Other than 2.7, just I'll do some modification. Calculate the wavelength. Sorry, calculate the energy. Calculate the energy of photon. Calculate the energy of the photon of light. Calculate the energy of the photon of light whose time period is 2.0 into 10 power minus 10 seconds. Yeah, this is this is the question here. So calculate the energy of the photon of light whose time period is 2.0 into 10 power minus 10. So to calculate energy of the photon, we require either wavelength or wave number or frequency. Given here? Not there. Just they give the time period. Okay. All right. That means this time period is nothing but the time taken for the transmission of one wave. That is the time period. Time period is through a point for the propagation of one wave, how much time it will take, that is time period. Then how many waves that are passing through the point in 1 second, that is nothing but a frequency. Okay, so frequency is nothing but reciprocal of time period, simply called as. Just here, see, one wave in a 2.0 into 10 power minus 10 seconds. Then what is frequency? In 1 second time, how many waves can pass out or propagate? So in 1 second time, how many waves can propagate? That is frequency nu. See, if you do this 1 into 1, then frequency, this is nothing but a nu. In 1 second time, how many waves can propagate? That is frequency. Then if you do cross multiplication, then nu is equal to 1 into 1 by 2.0 into 10 power minus 10, which is nothing but 1 by time period. Right now, one wave can propagate during a time of 2 into 10 power minus 10 seconds. Then during 1 second time, how many waves can propagate or can pass through a point? That is nothing but frequency. The nu is equal to 1 into 1 by 2 into 10 power minus 10, simply 1 by time period. Simply, as we know that frequency nu is equal to nothing but 1 by time period of one wave, or maybe just time period. Nu is equal to 1 by time period. Then what is frequency now? Nu is equal to 1 by time period is 2 into 10 power minus 10. Then nu is equal to, so 1 by 2 is 0.5. 0.5 into, this goes to number, becomes 10 power 10. So this is equal to 5 into 10 power 9 hertz. This is frequency. So from time period, first we have calculated frequency. Now, by using this frequency, we will calculate energy of the photon. So as we know that, so this is according to Planck's quantum theory. According to Planck's quantum theory, we know that energy E is equal to h nu, energy of one photon, where, what is the value of h? Where h is 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second, or if you take 10 power minus 27, you can get answer in terms of ergs, that is CGS units. So if you take h value in joule second, answer you can get in terms of joules, or if you take in CGS system erg second, you can get in terms of ergs answer. Yeah, now substitute both the values here. H is equal to 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 into 5 into 10 to the power of 9. Yeah, this is equal to, if you simplify powers, then this is a 10 power minus 25. Yeah, just multiply with 5 here. 30, 13, 31, 33. So 33.130 into 10 power minus 25 joules. So which is equal to 3.313 into 10, means 10 power minus 24 joules. This is energy of the photon when time period or frequency given. So once again, time period given. From the time period, first I have calculated frequency. Frequency is nothing but a reciprocal of time period of a wave. So 1 by time period, we got a 5 into 10 power 9 hertz. Then from the frequency, we can calculate the energy of the photon by using Planck's quantum theory. E is equal to h nu, where h is called as Planck's constant and its value is 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. Substitute both the values, h value and nu value, and simplify, you get answer. Okay, right. Now, let us see one more question here. Right. So one more question. Right. So just this is an example problem. A 100-watt bulb. A 100-watt bulb emits monochromatic light. The 100-watt bulb emits monochromatic light of wavelength 400 nanometers. Then calculate the number of photons. Calculate number of photons. Calculate the number of photons emitted per second. This is the problem. So this is an example problem. This is just see the one's question. What is the given question here? A 100-watt bulb emits monochromatic light. What is meant by monochromatic light? Say monochromatic light means the light which consists of only one particular wavelength light. So if you take a sunlight, sunlight is a combination of different wavelengths of light, that is from 400 to 760 nanometers. From 400 to 760 nanometers, all wavelength lights will be there in sunlight. Here monochromatic, mono means single, one, chrome means color, single color means having a single wavelength light. Means the light consists of only one wavelength photons. That is called monochromatic light of wavelength 400 nanometers. Then calculate the number of photons emitted per second. So while solving a problem, first verify what is the data given in the question and what is the required quantity. So what is the relation between those two? Put the corresponding relation and substitute, you will get answer. Now let us see here, wavelength of the light given. We have to calculate number of photons. What is the relation between number of photons and wavelength? Let us see. E is equal to NH nu. This is Planck's equation. The same we can write as E is equal to NHC by lambda. So here H is Planck's constant, C is velocity of light, both are fixed values. Wavelength given in the question 400 nanometers. What you have to calculate here? N value, number of photons. This is our required quantity here, that is number of photons. Still what is required here? Energy is required. Energy given? Given but not directly, indirectly given. That we should identify first. See here, 100-watt bulb they gave here. What is the meaning of 100-watt bulb? What is meant by 1 watt? If 1 joule of energy is emitted per second, that is called as 1 watt. 100-watt bulb means, now let us see the solution here. 100-watt bulb means, what is the meaning of this? 100-watt bulb means 100 joules energy emitted per second. This is the meaning of 100-watt bulb. 100-watt bulb means 100 joules of energy will be emitted per 1 second. Therefore, total energy emitted, per second is equal to 100 joules. Next, wavelength of the light, which is nothing but lambda. This is given as 400 nanometers. That is equal to 400 into 10 power minus 9 meters, which is equal to 4 into 10 power minus 7 meters. This is the wavelength. So what do you want to calculate? So number of electrons sorry, number of photons, number of photons emitted per second means nothing but this is n. This is equal to question mark, we have to calculate. This is the data from the given question. Total energy is 100 joules and the wavelength of the light is 4 into 10 power minus 7 meters, and we have to calculate number of photons n that are emitted per 1 second time. Now, according to Planck's theory, as we know that energy E is equal to nhc by lambda, where h is equal to, what is h here? Planck's constant, and its value is 6.626 into 10 power minus 20, sorry, 10 power minus 34 joule second. Why? Because here total energy you have taken in joules. H value also should be taken in joules only. And one more, what is C? C is nothing but velocity of light. C is nothing but equal to velocity of light. What is its value? 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. So this is the velocity of light. Now from this, write the expression for n. Then n is equal to E lambda by hc. For n, I have an expression from this equation. N is equal to E lambda by hc. Now substitute the values here. E value how much? 100 into lambda value 4 into 10 power minus 7 divided by h value 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 into 3 into 10 power 8. Yeah, this is equal to, first I will simplify the powers here. If this 10 power 8 goes to numerator, becomes 10 power minus 8, 10 power minus 8 to 10 power minus 7, 10 power minus 15. If 10 power minus 34 goes to numerator, becomes 10 power 34. So 34 minus 15, 9, that's about 19. So 10 power 19. Now simplify the remaining part. So if you simplify the remaining part, so 100 into 4, nothing but 400 divided by 6.626 into 3. So we got 20.122. So this is 20.122. 125 estimate 4 3 1.33 133 by 7. All right, so 20.122, and this we can represent as 2.012 into 10 power 20 electrons. That's all. This is the value of n. So the number of electrons that are ejected per 1 second is nothing but 2.012 into 10 power 20 electrons. Sorry, not electrons, these are photons. So these are the number of photons. Therefore, number of photons emitted per second, number of photons emitted per second is equal to 2.012 into 10 power 20. This is the final answer what we require. Right. See once again the same. A 100-watt bulb emits a monochromatic light of wavelength 400 nanometers. then calculate the number of photons emitted per second time. So here 100 watt means 100 joules of energy emitted per second. Therefore the total energy emitted per 1 second is nothing but equal to 100 joules. Given the wavelength of the emitted light is 400 nanometers. That 400 nanometers just convert into meters, we will get 4 into 10 power minus 7 meters. And we have to calculate the number of photons emitted per second. The number of photons emitted per second, n is equal to question mark, we have to calculate. As per Planck's theory, energy E is equal to nh nu. That is, energy E is equal to nhc by lambda. From this, n is equal to E lambda by hc, where h is Planck's constant, c is velocity of light, both are fixed values, constant values, and lambda is there, energy is there. By substituting all the four values, if you simplify, you can get number of photons that are emitted for 1 second time. Okay, so this is regarding today's class. So remaining tomorrow will continue. Sir, Sandeep sir.